a great show here today. I want you to make sure you stick around because I got two important guests coming on. One, you already know, he always joins me each and every time we do a show, and that is Dustin Phifer from Ballys Sports Southeast. We're going to be talking about the NBA Finals Game 1 last night, which took place there in San Francisco between the Warriors and the Celtics. So I think we got Dustin. Dustin.
Hey, Gene, what's going on? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. We are ready to talk some NBA Finals here. And we also got another guest going to be coming on here joining us, and that's uh, our sports handicapper, Jeff Lambert Sr., a.k.a. Mr. Pigs. He'll be joining us too, Dustin.
I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like he had another good night last night, and man, what a first game of the NBA Finals. I think this one, Gene, we got to talk about it, but I think this series is going to be pretty special.
I do too, Dustin. I tell you what, man, the first time the NBA Finals ever held in the city of San Francisco, so that was exciting. But man, the Celtics last night get the win, 120-108, and we're going to break down Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We also are going to talk about what we think is going to happen in Game 2 of the NBA Finals, as well as make our projections here. And I sort of spilled the beans a little bit, Dustin. Last night I went on social media and actually made my pick. So now I'm committed to who I selected. And hey, Dustin, we're also going to have some breaking news about what's going to be happening here with the show moving forward, and can't wait to share that. So it looks like Mr. Picks is there. I just need to get him in here, and I believe he should be coming on here in a little bit. It's been a while since I had all of you guys on the show at the same time.
It has. I told you, I'm looking forward to this show. We got a lot to talk about, whether it's breaking down the games, breaking down some bets, and I tell you what, like I said, the way this NBA Finals going, we should have it covered from every angle. So
every angle, and I think I hear him in the background, folks. Our sports handicapper. This guy's gonna have his own show coming up here later this summer. Can't wait. You should get on that money train, get your bets in and all of that stuff. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Picks, Jeff Lambert Sr. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, good morning, brothers. How y'all doing today?
We doing great, man. We doing
Wonderful.
great. We ready to break down Game 1 of the NBA Finals, which took place last night. Celtics fans are very happy today. Green, everybody's seeing green, including Mr. Picks. Now, Mr. Picks, did you win some money last night or what?
Yes, I did, Gene. And actually, I had quite a few people was calling me last night. I missed the calls, but hey, I got to them this morning, and everybody was happy. They was thanking me. Hey, thanks for that nugget you gave us yesterday, Mr. Picks.
Well, Dustin, in case I don't know if you, I think you and Dustin follow each other on social media.
I saw it. I saw the win, and once I saw it, I said, "Hey, you better jump on board while you can."
Exactly.
Well, hey guys, let's just sort of go ahead and recap Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Like I said, Celtics win that game 120-108. I can honestly say that although I did not print it, I did not publish it, I just felt that the Boston Celtics were going to win Game 1. I just don't know why, especially if you look at their records in the playoffs here. They've been winning almost every game on the road. Am I right, Dustin?
Yeah, almost every game. And then the other thing you have to look at, too, that you think about is, obviously Boston went through that brutal 7-game series with Miami. But sometimes, Gene, when you go through that series and you're coming off a big win in Game 7 like that, people might think you're tired. But I think that almost is a benefit compared to, like, Golden State, who maybe had a little more rest because, that's that rust versus rest argument we always have. But sometimes it takes you a little bit when you've had some of that rest to get going in a series. So, obviously, Golden State came out hot, so you can't really say that. But man, that fourth quarter, Gene, that was just an unbelievable thing to watch. And I know we didn't get to really put our predictions on air before the series, but me and you both did it on Facebook. And you said you're committed to yours. But I'm telling you what, I think I'm gonna have to go on air today and really flip my pick because I don't do that often, Gene. You know me.
I
When
know
I
you
make a
don't. I
prediction,
know
I
you don't.
stick with it.
So you
But
better think about this, Dustin,
I'm
before
gonna
you
think
do.
about it. But I'm
Well,
telling you,
you
what
can
I
get
saw
to the
last
end of the
night,
show.
it's got me with some pause on my prediction. So
Well, hey, I'm gonna say, Mr. Picks, and we talked the other day, and he said the same thing you just said
Right.
about that rust and rest
yeah,
that it would
yeah.
come back to hunt Golden State. Am I right, Mr. Picks?
Right. MeanGene, and I told you, I say it's just something about it that they had that little break in between, and that sort of starts to kick in on you, man, and you feel like, hey, I can still go, I'm gonna keep going and everything. But I just felt like Boston was ready, and I felt like everything was lined up. The stars had lined up for them guys, man, to come in, and they knew this was gonna be a must to at least get the jump start and get a game. At Golden State's home, and they did what they was gonna do, man. And I felt like this was gonna be a high scoring game on both sides, and it was. It actually turned out like I had said it was gonna do, and I just felt like Boston was gonna come in there and take it, man. It was close, but like you say, that fourth quarter, hey man, that's when it came down, and everybody was looking at the screen like, wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna start going with my instincts because I was a fingertip away from saying I think the Celtics are gonna steal this game, and I didn't do it. It stayed in my head, so it doesn't count. But I'm not surprised at all that the Celtics won. But I am surprised, guys. And once again, you listen to the MeanGene Show. We're streaming live here on Podbean. We don't do a lot of these live shows, but when we do, it's always fun to get everybody on so we can talk a little trash here. But here's the thing. That first quarter with Steph Curry scoring those 21 points, and that was pretty interesting, including what I think he had like 6 3-pointers. But what happened there in that first quarter?
That's just and I'm really close to the situation, kind of Gene with Steph being erased from here with the whole North Carolina thing, Davidson. So he's a guy that I really follow close and always love to see him be successful. But I knew that he was going to come out guns blazing because all of this talk about how he's such a great player, but he's never had a Finals MVP and he's never stepped up big in the finals. And I think he knows that this series is his moment to really. I mean, his legacy is cemented. I mean, he's got championships, he's got 2 MVPs, he's the greatest shooter ever. But if
Mm-hmm.
he adds that Finals MVP and a 4th championship, he knows it's going to take it to another level. So I knew he was going to come out ready to go. But I'll tell you what, Boston, I just throughout the game, and I think this is you don't see this much from a first year coach, Gene and Mr. Picks, but
Yeah.
what he does during the game, in game adjustments when it comes to defense
Oh
and
my
different stuff like
goodness.
that, that's pretty amazing to watch. And obviously, he's got the players to help do it with the Defensive Player of the Year and big wings like Tatum and Brown and even Horford who's stepping up. But just to see the in game adjustments, you can see how early on they were playing a little off of Steph. They were kind of going under some screens on pick and roll. But once they saw him get hot, they made sure to make that adjustment to
Mm-hmm.
push up on
Mm-hmm.
him more, trap him a little more. And I mean, Steph still had a good game, had a decent third quarter, but you could definitely see a huge difference from that first quarter and that fourth quarter. And those in-game adjustments are so big when you have two teams that are as good as they are.
Hey, Jeff. I mean, wouldn't you expect something like that from a team like Boston, who, was what they led the league in defense for most of the
Yeah.
year? So,
Yes,
did that
exactly.
surprise you?
No, I really wasn't surprised, Gene. Because, like I say, man, I've been watching these guys, man, and it's just one of those things where you look at a team to just say, man, these guys have rebuilt and put these guys together, man, and they're feeling each other right now, and they're the underdogs, man. And when you come in and you know you're the underdog, it's just one of those things you got to prove that, hey, man, we in this thing and we trying to take one home too as well. And so I really wasn't surprised at it. I'm like what Dustin said, man. You got the coaching staff that's coming together, man, and we got these guys, working together and feeling each other. So, man, right now, I'm rocking with Boston, man.
Wow. Hey, well, I tell you this. Now, speaking of coaches, let's just go ahead and set the table here. These two coaches, ironically, both of them played for Greg Popovich, and I have been seeing captions and images out there this week of Popovich talking to Udoka, Popovich talking to Kerr, and now Kerr has had the luxury of playing for 2 Hall of Fame coaches. He played for Phil Jackson, and he played alongside one of the greatest players in the world, Michael Jordan, and then you get Udoka. his time spent with Popovich, man, it is not a surprise that both of these teams, both of these coaches, are in the NBA Finals.
No, not a surprise at all. And I think we talk about how great Udoka has been in year one, and obviously he takes over. Brad Stevens goes to the front office, so you got to give Brad Stevens some credit for putting the roster together. But the way a first year coach came in, and if you look at it, it didn't really start off great. They started off slow.
Yeah.
And people were kind of wondering, hey, how's this thing going to work? But like Mr. Pick said, it just takes a while to gel, takes a while to come together. And when you've been through battles like they have in the playoffs, and again, this is, we'll save it for the end of the show, Gene, but this is another one of the reasons that's making me think in my head is as good as Golden State is, and I know they're battle tested and they're championship tested. If we're just looking at these playoffs, Boston has been through every type of situation you can possibly be in. It's winning game sevens on the road. It's losing a closeout game that could have closed out Milwaukee at home and then going on the road and beating Milwaukee. And again, we don't say this often. Normally it's the West that is brutal to go through. But this year, the East, when you go through Milwaukee, when you go through Miami, you go through championship contending teams like that. I mean, you have just...
Dustin, are you there?
I think he got disconnected.
Yeah, Mr. Picks. All right. Well, we'll pick it up, and hopefully we can get Dustin back in.
Okay.
And so what I was going to say here, Celtics fans, look, the Celtics have won 17 NBA championships, but they have the best winning percentage when it comes to the finals. They've been in 22 NBA finals and they've won 17. So I know you like odds like that, don't you, Mr. Picks?
Hey, you already know MeanGene. I love those type of odds, man. And it's just, hey, you know me, man. I sit back and I watch the lines and I watch the odds. And Vegas giving up some, hey man, I'm all on board with that, MeanGene.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because Dustin, are you back on with us?
I'm back. I don't know what happened there,
I'm going to see if we can get
he
him
had
back.
to go play some bet.
Yeah, he probably did have to go run and play some bet. But and ironically, the Lakers now, because right now the Celtics and the Lakers are tied for the most championships, NBA championships. Boston's got 17, Lakers got 17, but the Lakers, and I just throwing out a little history, the Lakers have played in more NBA finals. They've played in 32, but they've lost 15. So it doesn't count. The Celtics are hot, man, and right behind the Celtics are the Golden State Warriors. As far as they've won 6 championships and they've been in 12. But anyway, this matchup we have here now is just incredible. And I think looking at that the Boston Celtics defense, it came in to play, especially when they held Steph Curry to 0 points in the second quarter after he scored 21 in the first. Jeff?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? I mean, they scored, Steph, he puts up the 21 points, and then, like Dustin had said, and hopefully we get him back on here, that let's see here. Yep, I think we got him back on here. We're going to... Okay, Dustin, are you back with us?
Got me now?
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
You got to love technology sometimes.
Well, hey, look here. It's a live show. Hey, that's it happens, and that let our listeners know that things do happen. Wait a minute. What about last night? Speaking of technology, during the game last night, the sound just went out. Am I right?
It did.
Yeah, it did. They had some crazy issues, and that ESPN can't be happy. Obviously, Mark Jones and Mark Jackson did a good job, but they're really upset that they don't have that full cast of Breen, Van Gundy,
I know.
and Jackson doing the finals.
It just looked weird. As soon as I heard Jones's voice, I'm like, wait a minute, something's not right about this. But wait a minute, I don't even think the networks knew they didn't have any sound because it went on for like 5 or 6 minutes. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, is it my TV? What the heck is going on here? And I even tweeted on Twitter, give the NBA Finals back to CBS. At least they can get the sound right.
Hey, so listen, if the biggest broadcast, the NBA Finals, can have some issues, then we can have some issues.
Then we can too.
Absolutely.
But what we were talking about, Dustin, was the fact that Celtics defense did show in that second quarter, because Steph Curry, how do you go from scoring 21 points in the first quarter, no points in the second quarter? So you think it was the Celtics defense?
It definitely was, and again, it's just other guys that need to step up for Golden State too. I mean, Clay, he said it in the post game, he's got to be better, Clay Thompson. So he's got to step up and make that happen. And then, like I said, I think Clay and Steph are going to do what they do, but the biggest X factor to me is Jordan Poole, and he's
Oh
got to be
yeah.
that third guy to really make it happen. And he had an off game. Obviously, it's his first finals experience, and he's a young guy, but they got to have that guy step up to take more of the pressure off of guys like Steph and Clay. And we'll see what happens. Wiggins needs to step up as well, but that's what we saw last night with Boston was not just the defense, but look at their best player. And I keep going back to it, another reason to make me think Jason Tatum was 3 for 17, and they won that game on the road. Now I know he had
Yeah.
13 assists and he was amazing passing the ball, but for them to have their best guy have a game like that and to steal a game on the road, that's what's got it's about the and Shaq always says
Right.
it's about the others. And so when you have Horford and Smart and Derek White stepping up big last night, that's what's going to be the biggest difference in this series, because we know Steph and Clay and Tatum and Brown are going to do what they do, but these guys are going to make the difference of who steps up in the rest of those role players.
What do you think about that, Mr. Picks?
Right. I'm totally in agreement with what Dustin just said, because I was thinking the same thing, man. You had Boston, like you say, with one guy, and it's a team thing. It's always a team thing, man. And when these guys, stepped up because they know the pressure was going to be on Tatum, and these guys, man, stepped up, and there was a lot of everybody shooting 3-pointers. 3 points, man. It was like 3 points all over. You get a 3-pointer. You get a 3-pointer, and man, they was just racking up numbers, man. But like you say, it's just going to be like that even on Golden State. Their side, man, that these guys got to also, man, play key roles. Not just you depending on 3 people to score all the points, man. The whole team got to step up. And on Boston side, man, those guys all came in and filled in, man, and put some good numbers up, man.
Listen, Al Horford's having an Atlanta Hawks flashback. I mean, the guy
You ain't
is
lying.
just
I know.
unbelievable. It hit 6 threes last night, and
Oh
I'll
my
go ahead. I
goodness.
know it's one game, but if Boston shoots the 3-ball like that, I don't think there's really any team that can beat them if you combine the 3-point shooting with that defense. So, obviously Golden State's going to make their adjustments. What I was saying prior to that cutout was Steve Kerr's an amazing coach. He doesn't get enough credit. Everybody thinks he's got stars, so anybody can do it. But as you know, you got to have a coach who can handle all that. And he has the pulse of his team, and I know he'll make some adjustments. And like I said, I think this series is going 7 games. But again, what Boston showed me last night was just super impressive. No matter how much they got down, they never panicked, and they were just able to make the plays in that fourth quarter.
Never panic, and let's talk numbers a little bit, because I know, Mr. Picks, that's your specialty there. But as a fan, and we have all talked about, man, the NBA, all they do is shoot threes. All they do is shoot threes, and no one's playing defense. Blah blah blah. I think you're gonna see defense in this series, but I'm gonna tell you why they shoot these threes. If the Boston Celtics were 21 of 41, that's 51%. That's 51%. So they made now the Warriors were 19 to 45. Now, on any given night, sometimes it's the Warriors that's hitting 50%. They are going to shoot those threes, because if Boston didn't, they probably wouldn't have won. Am I right?
Right, correct.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Go ahead, Mr. Pigs.
No, I was just gonna, reiterate that, like you say, man, they got to shoot those threes and everything, and I think Boston wouldn't have won this game last night if they didn't step up, because, like I say, they was guarding. They was Golden State was playing D, man, and they couldn't get in, so they was forcing them to stay outside, and forcing them to shoot 3-pointers, and it just so happened they was hitting.
Yeah, it's just incredible how the game of basketball is played. These coaches are playing. They're coaching for today. They know the percentages, the numbers tell you to keep shooting, because you never know. And I think that also explains why we saw all of those lopsided, Dustin, I think me and you talked about it, how Miami can go and beat Boston by 20 points one night, and the next night Boston can beat them. It's the 3. The 3 is the key to the NBA.
It definitely is, and Golden State's game plan probably was. Their game plan probably wasn't far off what they did last night. They were saying, hey, Let's try to take away Tatum. Let's try to, minimize Brown. And let's instead of them getting in the paint, let's force those other guys, Horford, Marcus Smart, Derek White, to shoot threes, and they'll probably live with the percentages. Now, they probably didn't expect Horford to go 6 for 8. So again, that's why they're going to have to make adjustments for game 2. Now that they see these guys are confident in shooting it, now they're going to have to make a little bit more of an adjustment where, my game plan philosophy has always been this, Gene, when it comes to a star player. They're going to get theirs. So
Yeah.
I think if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm changing it up a little bit. I think they were focused on taking away Tatum, and the rest of theirs got there. I think it should be the opposite. Like, let Tatum get his. He's going to get his.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take away the rest of those role players, like Mr. Pick said, this is a team game. As good as Tatum is, he's not going to beat you by himself. So I think that would be my game plan going forward. Is if Tatum gets his, that's fine. But I'm not letting Derek White get 21. I'm not letting Horford get 26, and I'm not letting Smart get 20 or whatever it was. So I'm cutting those guys down. And if Tatum gets his, that's fine. But I know we've got enough star power ourselves to match Tatum and beat them.
See, now, Mr. Picks, I got to think that you went to the bank last night in the fourth quarter, because that's when you probably realized when Boston went on a 40-16, actually, they went on a 17-0 run, but they outscored the Warriors 40-16. And I said, oh, this is over. This is over. But anyway, 3.5. Now, according to what I'm looking at, it was what? Golden State was supposed to win by 3.5, right?
Correct.
And the over-under was what, like 214, 215, something like that?
Yeah, 214. 214, I believe it was.
So how did you figure that the over was going to be covered and that the Celtics was going to cover that spread?
Basically, like I say, Gene, I put it out there earlier, 3 hours ahead of time, so people don't say, oh, you put that up there after the game, to just let them know, hey, man, I study this type of stuff. So when I put it up there, 3 hours, gave them a 3-hour window to go, hey, go place your bets, whatever. But I kind of, like we was just talking about earlier, I kind of knew that these guys, like I said, that it doesn't take but like one good rest day for momentum to sit in. And I felt like Boston them knew that they had to come in and do something. So I say, hey, look, if they only win this first game and then take them back home after the second game, because they still got to play in Golden State, for the second game, I just felt like at some point that Boston's going to come in. They still got that adrenaline going, and they know this is, a big moment for them. All of them are big moments, but I just felt like, hey, this is going to be a high-scoring game. Everybody's going to come out, and it's going to be a shoot-around. And that's what it was, Gene. So that's why I looked and saw that, hey, man, Boston, I'm going to go with Boston. They giving up 3.5 points. And I'm just like, Boston right now is on a roll. And I just felt like they was going to come in and cover that 3 points. If not, I felt like they was going to win.
Okay.
And like I say, to give them just the 3 points in Golden State at home, and you only giving up 3.5 points, like, nah, they just didn't sit good with me. I said, well, I'm going to rock with I'm like, you got a team that's at home with all the fans behind them and everything. And, hey, they sitting there waiting. And I just looked at, you can sit and wait at home and everything, and you got the fans support and all that. I just felt like that, that it really didn't matter. It was just like, hey, man, they coming in, these guys is finna play, and they stepped up in that fourth quarter show, because I was getting a little leery about it. and I was like, oh, my God. I say, well, Mr. Pigs might have to go back in and probably have to give some people some loans or something, drain the bank account. But, hey, man, but I wasn't really worried about it. I looked at it and I watched it, and I just felt like, just wait. It was just wait, just being patiently, just wait. And they did. They came on in, man, and they took over the game, and they won that one. And, like you say, you just got to prepare for the next one. You just didn't think, because we at home, you was going to take over,
What you got, Dustin?
Let me jump in here and ask this to Mr. Picks, the expert, going to game 2. So I agree with everything he said there. You knew both of them were going to come out shooting the lights out on fire because they were ready to go. They were amped up. So for me, my thought process going into game 2, at least for the over-under, not necessarily for who's going to win, but my thought process is, okay, these coaches are going to be making some adjustments now. So game 2 is where you might see a little more low scoring, because they're going to start settling in with their adjustments in defense. And so you might see more of a battle of a low scoring game going to game 2. What do you think about that?
I was already had wrote that down and everything and looked at the numbers at this point. If the game went today, Dustin started today without the, rest period because we got 3 days, 2 days before it's Friday.
Yep,
So, until Sunday, I'm looking because this could kind of go both ways. It could kind of go up or down. So, before kickoff. But if it started today, if we was to go ahead and say that we're going to place a bet today, I would go with the over, that this game would go over, because right now Vegas got them sitting at 215.5. I think this game would go over again. A lot of people would think that it wouldn't. I believe this game would be a high-scoring game again. They're going to come out and throw up throw up the numbers again like they did. But at this point, I would go with, and I think it's at 4 points that Boston's getting 4 points. I would go with Golden State to win the game, but I would take Boston to cover those 4 points as well, though. I would do it the same way I did last night.
So you think it's gonna?
You tell me what you think, Gene. But any team, I mean, in this series, it's so close. Any team getting 4 or 5 points is hard to not take.
Yeah, it is, and I agree with both of you guys. I would do the same thing because right. I think the Warriors are going to win Sunday, but it's going to be interesting to see what those odds, if they change, between now and then. You never know. But now here's a question though, Dustin, for you. Were you at all surprised that Iguodala? Now I know they said that Iguodala was ready. I didn't expect to see him actually in the game, and then they also said that Gary Payton Jr. or Gary Payton III was ready to play. So were you shocked to see Iguodala in, or do you think they put him in for his experience?
Yeah, I think they went with his experience. I was a little surprised to see him, but he's been a Finals MVP before. He's won championships with the Warriors, so I think they really were going with his experience. And honestly, when he hit that three to end the third quarter, I thought that even though he had a whole quarter to play, I was like, man, if Iguodala's knocking that down, everything's going right for Golden
Yeah,
State. Now, obviously, it flipped the script on it, but yeah, I think they were going more for experience, but I do expect to see Peyton in there a good bit more if he's healthy because he
yeah.
really with his athleticism and his defense, he really impacts the game. And the more he can play some defense on a guy like Tatum or Brown, hopefully that's going to free up Klay Thompson to do more for the Warriors.
Exactly. So, Mr. Picks, I gotta ask. So we broke down games 1 and 2 odds. What's the overall numbers on this series? Who does Vegas have to win this series?
Well, right now, Gene, I was trying to pull it up and find it. Right now, they are not just giving the overall stats in it. I mean, I can't see that at this point on my end. And if it's somewhere else, then yeah, but I hadn't really got a chance to pull it up, could find that what Vegas got. So I don't want to give some misleading information and have
So,
everybody,
so,
you
so
know.
I got some. I got it right here for you, Mister Pick.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so, so basically, going into the series, I believe that Golden State was a -155 and Boston was like a +130. It was one of the closest series lines that we've
Oh
seen
wow, that
in
is
Yeah,
some
close.
yeah,
years.
yeah,
And now,
yeah.
and now after the Game 1 win on a site that I see that I use a good bit, it's got Boston Celtics at -200 to win the series and Golden
Okay.
State at
Wow,
+150. So
wow,
it definitely has
Right.
shifted to Boston being the
it did
favorite as we're
shift.
still in Game 1. So if people, Gene, if you're liking Golden State still, now you can get them as an underdog for a series price. So
Well, yeah, yeah, you're right, and believe me, I'm still sticking with Golden State. But man, I was a little shocked and impressed with the Celtics last night. And Dustin, when you had went away uh, for a minute, I gave some history there with the Celtics. The Celtics have played in 22 NBA Finals. They have won 17, so they have one hell of a record when it comes to
man,
being in the finals, as compared to the Lakers, who has played in more NBA Finals, but they have also lost more NBA Finals. Lakers played in 32, they've lost 15, so they won 17. So interesting, I tell you, the Celtics are for real, and I never not counted them, but I still think the Warriors. I think Kerr will figure it out. I just feel that way. So let's talk about game 2, which is going to take place Sunday here. And I know Dustin's got to get off here and do some stuff there, Mr. Pick. So we're going to wrap this up here in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So what are we looking at as far as game 2, Dustin?
So game 2, I kind of feel the same way you do, Gene. I do think Golden State will bounce back. I think that building, as we saw in the first half, will be electric. And again, I'm hoping, I'm no NBA head coach, and I know Steve Kerr will make the adjustments. And this was something I was talking about as I got cut off. But I really think they should shift the game plan to. I mean, obviously, you're still going to try to defend Tatum and slow him down, but I wouldn't double as much. I wouldn't triple team as much. I literally would, put my best defender on him. Whether we throw Gary Payton in there, some Klay Thompson, Iguodala, mix and match on him. But if Tatum gets his, he gets his. It's the other guys. I'm not letting Derek White get 21. I'm not letting
Yeah.
Horford get 26. I'm slowing those guys down. And if Tatum can beat us by himself, like Mr. Pick said, this is a team game, then so he does it. But I think if Tatum gets his and we slow those other guys down, then Golden State. I say we talking about Golden State. Golden State has enough to really get the job done if Klay steps up. And I think Klay is going to have a lot better game two than he did in game one. So I look for Golden State to bounce back.
So,
Right.
Mr. Picks, what you got?
I agree. Golden State, I figure they at least get one at home. If not, it's going to be a surprising thing again and everything. And like I say, giving up the points, I'm going to take the points to go with Boston, but to cover. Not saying that they will win. I'm just saying I'm taking the points to cover it with the way they played last night. And hey, if they do come in and win a game, win 2 games, it's going to kind of be put a whole lot of pressure on Golden State if they have to go on the road. Now you're going to Boston and trying to get a game, but I still think that this is going to go 7 games, through the whole thing as well. But like I say, and I think that this game here Sunday, I believe, like I said, if it went off today, I would take it that this game would go over again. Even though, like I say, they're making adjustments like Dustin said, I still would think that today, if it went off today, that they would go over. But come Sunday, it might be different that the defense, like I say, with the adjustments, the defense kick in and, the way the numbers may change, that they might go under. I think it's going to be a low score, and it's not going to be as high as it was this time.
Okay.
With the adjustment.
I like the Warriors to get the game. It's just going to be interesting to see defensively how they are going to do it. Even though they, as far as Tatum, they shook his world last night. He was not effective, with the scoring, but he did have 13 dimes there. So we'll see how. I definitely don't expect Tatum to be shut down for 2 games. So I expect him to put up some big numbers, but I do expect the Warriors to get the win. Hey guys, I since we have Mr. Picks and Dustin Phifer here on the show, want to just talk about the future of what we're going to be doing here. We are in the middle of a big deal in Las Vegas. Now, last year the MeanGene Show was in Vegas, and we did the KDWN thing there in Vegas. 101.5 FM and 720 AM. We also did some things over at the Westgate. Well, we have a new partner in Vegas, and it's the Virgin Hotel, and Casino, and Sportsbook. The Sportsbook is going to open up later this year, but the MeanGene Show, the Sports Kings, and Mr. Picks will have his own show. All of those shows are going to be taking place over at the Virgin Casino and Hotel, and we also will be on at the KDWN 720 AM once the NFL season preseason starts in August. So guys, this is some big news, and I can't wait, and I want to get your thoughts on it. We'll start with you, Mr. Picks.
Hey, Gene, I'm more than excited, man. It's been a long time coming, and I always, tell you, hey, man, I appreciate you. And then, Dustin's always, then gave me a shout out and everything, man. And I appreciate you guys, man, for giving me a good platform and backing me, man, and showing that support to me, man, and trying to get my own thing going, own show going. And, hey, and I'm excited about having you guys on my show just as well being on the show with you all, man. And it's nothing but love, man. And I'm excited about it. And hey, I can't wait. Can't wait, man.
Man, all I can say is it's a huge congratulations to Eugene, to you, Mr. Picks, to the whole show, the whole Sports Kings family. It's definitely well deserved. I last night when you were telling me the news, Gene, I was thinking all the way back to that Panthers game when we met in the press box, and how long ago that was.
Oh my goodness! Man, hey, I was a lost puppy in that press box. Dustin saw me scrambling and lost, and he said, "Hey, young man, look like you lost."
that just shows where we've been, all the stuff we've been through together. And listen, the show only continues to get better as we go, and obviously everybody's seeing that, so that's why these great opportunities are coming. And I'm excited to continue to contribute to your show, Gene, and to help out Mr. Picks when he needs help. Like I said, we're one big family, and I think we've done a lot of great things, and I think there's only big things coming. So that is great news, and I look forward to what's coming next for everybody.
Absolutely, guys, and the Sports Kings, we haven't used that in a while. So Dustin has always been a Sports King, and
right.
back in the day, man, Dustin has hosted this show without me being anywhere near it, and he's worked with a lot of people. We had the late Rod Johnson on, man. Those shows were always hilarious, and but now we're gonna bring in Rudy Reyes. Rudy is the host of the Rude Dog Show. And then he's also on Coachella Sports out there in Southern California. So the Sports Kings is going to consist of myself, Dustin, and Rudy when we're all talking. And this will get into our little weekly countdown, like when we do football. And then, of course, the MeanGene Show. I'm still gonna throw some stuff out there for this casino, and we're looking forward to it. We're also bringing back one of our other sponsors, the Presidential Limousine. They're going to partner with us again out there in Las Vegas. So Dustin, when you get there, man, you're going to be in the limo. We're going to take you right on to the Virgin Casino in Las Vegas.
Listen, I can't wait. That Vegas is my second home. I love to be out there. You always Mr. Picks is the bet guy, but y'all hadn't seen me in Vegas yet. So listen, I'll be right there with y'all. So hey,
right.
y'all point me to the sports book. Y'all point me to the roulette and blackjack tables, and we'll have a great time. Most importantly, it's about getting that content out, everything to the fans. We want to give them as much as possible, and I know we're big in the NFL, Gene, but it's been great to talk NBA, and I want to get anything out there to all these sports fans to really provide them the content that they deserve. So,
right,
yeah, guys, this is really going to be exciting, and of course, just expanding our reach there in the Nevada, Arizona, California areas. People coming up there, and then Dustin, you with Ballys Sports Southeast, getting these folks. There's a ton of things that we're going to have going on. As a matter of fact, this contract should run all the way up until the Super Bowl 2024, which will be in Las Vegas. So, guys, we are getting ready for something big. Now, real quick, also speaking of Las Vegas, one of the topics last night that the commissioner talked about when he addresses the media every year was the possibility of 2 expansion teams for the NBA, one in Seattle and one of all places, guys, Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean that's I think that's a great opportunity. Listen, it has to happen. If you've got football, you've got hockey, you've got WNBA. I mean, who knows MLB down the road? I mean,
yeah,
Vegas. It's finally it's time for everything to happen. And look at the support that the Golden Knights have in Vegas.
Oh my goodness!
Look how the Raiders have taken off.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's going to be a huge year for them. That's going to be very exciting. So, yeah, I definitely see that happen. And also a shout out to Seattle. They deserve to get a team back.
Yeah.
That fan base up there is crazy. They got a hockey team last year, and they got a new arena now. So I don't think you could have 2 better spots if you're going to do some expansion in the league.
Absolutely, guys. It's going to be. Now, I ain't really crazy about the $2.5 billion expansion fee. I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
right
if you
now.
want a team, if you're going to own that team, not only do you're going to, you got to come with the money. So, and we know Vegas got the money, right, Mr. Picks? If anybody's got the money, Vegas got the money.
Yeah. Yes,
They can just do a collection, right?
Like on Sunday, pass it around.
Pass it around Vegas. You get that $2.5 billion. But hey, guys, want to thank you guys for joining me today here on our streaming show. Once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties, but I can't promise you that we won't have any more. I mean, it's live radio. I mean, what can we say? But hey, we'll circle back, guys, here. Probably somewhere in the middle of this series and see how things are going. But anyway, I want to thank you guys.
So real quick, Gene, you're sticking with the Warriors for the series.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Warriors for the series.
How about you, Mr. Picks?
I'm going with Boston.
Okay. Gene, I was gonna flop because
Oh boy.
Boston really showed me something, and I think they've been through it all in these playoffs, and they've shown that no matter what happens, they're going to win. But you're right. I make a prediction and I stick with it. So
You
I'm sticking
do.
with the Warriors in 7. I think,
Okay.
like you said, Steve Kerr, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, they should have enough championship experience to make these adjustments. So I think I really do think it's gonna be one of the best series we've seen in a while, and I'll stick with the Warriors in 7.
So for a minute, it looked like I was going to be the lone wolf there. So,
It
Mr.
did.
Picks,
So
you
I'm
the
the
lone
lone wolf.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to do it. So I'm glad
Yep.
Dustin came back around. Well,
I
hey
did.
guys, anyway, hey, it's a Friday, June 3rd here. Get out there and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Sunday night, folks. Sunday night, ABC, 7 p.m. Central Time. Golden State Warriors, Boston Celtics, game 2 of the NBA Finals. And we'll get back together next week and break this down. But anyway, we are going to sign off, and we'll see you again here on the MeanGene Show, streaming live on podbean.com.